Most, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel, broad lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit titled 25. The series going into the nastiness of the scriptures and what the nastiness of the scriptures can be, according to the scriptures is graphic, man. I mean, you have murder, you have killing, you have beatings, stonings, beheadings, rapes, all right, castrations, beheadings, being burnt alive. You have all type. The Bible is pretty much the most graphic book that was ever written, and it makes sense because the Bible is a abridged version of history, condensed in a short thousand or a few thousand. I won't even say a few thousand, but 1,000 or more pages. I put it to you that way, many pages. All right, the context of history is written throughout the scriptures. Okay, yeah, it's an abridged version because, I mean, common sense would tell you that, well, you couldn't get every single account in the scriptures in a book, all right, because even Yahweh Shai done miracles that the book couldn't even contain. No, but anyway, with that being said, it's 2025 and you have Israelites that's still emotional about Deuteronomy 22 and 26, 27 when it goes into lay hold on a woman. All right, now what I'm realizing, because I've watched some of Tazariak's video through the Apostles Tahar's video that he did, and basically, you know, going back to 2013, 2014, maybe when Brother Polite, which he's in jail, by the way, for acting out the law. But anyway, long story short, you got guys that's still bringing up the account of what the apostles broke down about dealing with younger women, which in this society they would call underage girls. But see, what Jake don't understand is in the 1800s, you had consent by state, which, you know, a lot of it was off because, you know, some states, they'll let you deal with 11-year-old, you know, just depending on the state. But ideally, it was between 12 and 14 years old because Esau understood that a woman reaches womanhood at the age of 12 to 14, which is called puberty, when she's able to procreate, she's able to have kids. I mean, that's natural. Ishmael knows that. Ham knows that. Hell, even shit, three generations ago, you had grandparents that got married as young as the age of 15, 16 years old. So, I mean, it's not an uncommon practice, but you got emotional niggas out there to try to play on the emotions of their congregation because they understand that if they trim their ways to seek love, then they can ultimately get, they can profit off the congregation. Okay, and that's what I'm seeing now, is that a lot of men are profiting off the congregation because, you know, money and women. Okay, when you pander to women and you pander to emotional simps, then, you know, your congregation will go a long way because essentially you really just want the money. So Tazariak basically was bringing out the account on how GMS is holding us back from the kingdom because the doctrine that we push regarding such and such, regarding Deuteronomy 22 and 28, which goes into the law on grape. And they make it seem like the apostles was saying, go out there and grab up 14-year-old women and have sex with them. No, that's not what the apostles were saying. And these niggas know that, all right? But see, Jake is so goddamn effeminate and emotional that they really will believe that narrative because they want a reason to feel some type of way, to have controversy. It's a talking point. Okay, as long as that negative air is in the air about us, that will always be a talking point and a reason for debate among wicked Israelites. See, the thing is this: if we were really doing something like that, don't you think we'd be locked up by now? If we was actually pushing that on our congregation, do you think we would be locked the fuck up by now, man? Okay, because Esau, he don't allow that shit in his society. And second of all, we were just bringing out the law on the account of what will happen in a situation like that. Okay, you got to understand ancient cultures in Israel, and I may have to go into arranged marriages and the age of arranged marriages, and I've done lessons on this several times. But you know, for the elect's sake, we have to continue to edify. But anyway, on arranged marriages, oftentimes, and you can look this up on Google, they say between the ages of 12 to 14 up until the age of 18 that I read that, you know, a man could promise off his daughter, even if he betrothed her at the age of 13 or 14, when she was old enough, her body was ready to have children, and she was ready to be given to a man, you know, out of marriage or to marriage, because the daughter is simply the property of the father until the husband takes over. But he can hold off. He can say, well, look, you know, my daughter, she's not fully developed yet. Let's give her another year before you start bringing a stiffer to her, you know. And that can be arranged. And the guy may say, well, okay, you know, and he may be 21 years old. He can say, okay, that's fine, you know. Nobody's going to touch her, so, yeah, I can wait. And the anticipation builds up, and then, you know, the marriage is consummated through the act of sex, and then the tokens of our virginity will be what it is, and that would be the end of it. Hey, Nair, can you hear me? If you can hear me, brother, say something, man, because I went through a dead zone, and I don't know if it's still on or not. And also, get these people off these bots. Get these bots off the page if you can, Baba Kusha. If you're still listening to the video. If you can't, then okay, well, all these bots in the comment section, get them all off. All right. But anyway, so going into that law, you got Israelites that's still pushing that on us because, like I said, they have nothing else to really talk about. And, you know, their doctrine is pretty much being filleted, is being destroyed. So you got Tazariak bringing back up the fact that we do these things, and that's not the case, which is false witness, man. All right. We just tell you, according to the law, that if you was to grab up a woman, and see, Jake make the worst case out of everything. They make it seem like, oh, well, GMS say you can go and hit a girl upside the head and snatch her up and take her home and just repeatedly violate her. No, that's not the case, man. All right, that's not how we get down. We would just tell you, according to the law, that's just what it is. But yet you got men literally changing the doctrine, okay, looking for that soft landing so they don't get the persecution. But yet we the bad guys in Israel when you got niggas out there teaching that salvation is for Gentiles. So what's more offensive? A white boy can make it in the kingdom and beat the hell out of you and give you orders, or you having a younger wife according to the law? Which one's more worse? Which one is a condemnation to hell, as they would say? You know, because in this wicked world, they teach you that dealing with an experienced woman is a badge of honor. And it makes a lot of sense, though, because if you think about it, Babylon is called the great whore. So whoredoms and witchcrafts are pushed. So the minds of the people are completely upside down. So they push certain beliefs on people to make them think. And this is why when you go to that show, Pop the Balloon, you know, a lot of times, man, you know, guys, they'll pop the balloon on a bitch that's not submissive because, you know, that's just what it is now. Men are waking up to the fact they want submissive and clean women. But you would get shunned for saying you want a virgin. Like, I won't sugarcoat shit. I would tell a woman any day, yeah, you're better if you were a virgin. I would prefer a virgin. You know, and then they'll look at you like, ugh, what's wrong with you? Why you want a virgin for? Because I don't want no used up bitch. That's why. All right? I don't want no woman that had another man's privy parts in her mouth, or another woman that's able to compare me to another man. And as a man, that pisses me the fuck off. So ideally, priest's supposed to have virgins any goddamn way, man. All right, I'm a Levite, so I'm supposed to deal with a virgin, and I can't deal with any woman that's technically but put away from her husband. But we're all guilty of adultery, you know, which that's why this fucking place got to be destroyed. You know, I was my neighbor, and then show how fucking hypocritical these people is. So I got a neighbor, she's an Edomite, kind of weirdo, kind of bugged out, and she, you know, she be giving me the eye and shit. But she had this crazy ass Edomite dude that she was dealing with, and they've been going back and forth for the last couple of months. But I think recently they just broke up because the first time he broke in the bitch's house. He busted the back patio 3 o'clock in the morning, and he was arguing with the bitch. So I'm like, okay, well, that's that. So he come back after the police come. He comes back 2-3 weeks later, and he gets into it with the bitch again. So from my understanding, she's 21 years old. That guy's 27 years old. So he gets into it with her, And he's like, well, let me get my shit because I'm trying to go. She said, you're not getting your shit because you got an underage girl in the car. And so I go out there, and because I'm like, all right, y'all waking me up. I'm like, y'all got to take this shit outside or take it inside. I don't want to hear this shit. You know, y'all busting in doors and breaking laundry room doors. I ain't got time for that. It was peaceful before y'all came over here. So I put the dude to the side, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I get it, you know what I'm saying? These women ain't fucking right. And I'm like, how old is the young lady? She's 18 years old. I'm like, so what the fuck is your bitch tripping for? She's 21, she's 18. How is that an underage girl? He's 27, she's 18. So fucking what? Okay, she's legal, she's past the age of consent. So what? You know, but she was like, well, you're dealing with underage. That's not an underage woman, sweetheart. You know, so I just told dude, I said, man, bro, you got your chick, whatever, man, just bounce, fuck it. You don't even deal with this shit. And the crazy part about it is, like 2 days later, this bitch had 2 different dudes that come to the house the same day. And then another nigga just dropped off for work this morning, and she had a whole Jake over there yesterday. So this is 4 dudes in 2 days. But she getting on my mans about him dealing with another woman that's 18 years old. I'm like 18, 21, 22, 24. What's the goddamn difference, man? It's no fucking difference. You know, but this punk ass world would teach these women that that's wrong, and that's not wrong. Hell, when I was in the freshman year of high school, it was women I liked that was a sophomore and junior high school when I was a freshie, and they was getting picked up by niggas in their 20s, man. Hell, my mom got pregnant with my sister at 15, 16 years old. Now, the father was around the same age, but that shows you that kids are sexually, or not even kids, they're sexually active at that age. You know, but see, when you grow up in a wicked ass world like this, then, you know, your mindset becomes all tainted and messed up, you know. And ideally, we just got to get the hell away from us, because the scriptures say, let us be delivered from unreasonable and ungodly men. So no matter how much you explain it to these niggas, they're going to still find a problem with it, because they know that the average nigga that call themselves an Israelite is not in the ancient mindset. They didn't utilize Jeremiah 16:6 when it goes into seek the old paths, man. Okay, most Israelites in this kingdom are modern day Israelites. You got Israelites that don't even speak the Hebrew. They don't even know the Hebrew. You know, IUIC, they don't deal with the Hebrew. They don't call themselves Hebrew Israelites. They just call themselves Israelites. So most of these dudes that you see out there in these camps, most of them are Israelites with the Western mindset. This is why they can't understand the ancient cultures that we bring out, the ancient laws on what we bring out. They can't understand it. You know, and that's not on us, that's on them. Okay, because the scriptures, once again, I'm gonna quote it. It says, why trimmest thy ways to speak love? Why thou trimmest thy ways to seek love and approval? And ultimately, Jake does that. They do it because they want approval of this world, man. Okay, they don't want to be the bad guy. They don't want to be the ones that's being prosecuted. But Cesariak know that law in the scriptures is what it is. He understands that, man. He just trying to save himself for when this thing goes down, and when they start to roll on us and they start to try to air us out, so to speak, and label us these offscourging of men. They don't want to be caught up in that shit. Okay, they want the glory of being an Israelite, but they don't want the dishonor, or they don't want the humility before honor. Okay, a lot of Israelites want their preeminence on this side. They want to be good on this side without the persecution, and they want to go in the kingdom and rub elbows with Yahushua. Nah, bro, you gotta you gotta go through the straight gate. And part of the straight gate is being demonized by this wicked ass world. And as painful and as unsettling that can be, it's just something we gonna have to go through, man. And you gotta trust in the Lord that he's gonna vindicate us through all this shit, because he said that he was gonna keep us from the scourging of the tongue. So essentially, when these people put this shit out on us, the Lord it ain't gonna really bother us like that, man, because you can't be in the spirit of giving a fuck about these people's opinion, man. You know? I was watching this video this weekend. It was with the boxer Errol Spence, EJ, and he was being interviewed by this little boy. I thought it was a girl, but it was a little boy, little big head boy. He got like a little boxing podcast channel, and the dude asked EJ. He asked him a question. He said, "So when you're reading stuff about you," he said, "how does it make you feel?" He said, "It motivates me, because," he said, "these people don't know me from a can of paint, so I don't care what they say about me. You know, I'm not going to tuck my tail and say, oh, why are they saying this about me?" So I kind of, you know, we adopt the same mindset. We don't really care how people feel about us at the end of the day. You know, they going to bring out the fact, Great Millstone Israelites, we're a bunch of terrorists. We're a bunch of womanizers. We're a bunch of demons. They gonna say that. They say that shit about us now, man. So when they start putting it out there and pushing narratives on people that may have liked us, you just got to be comfortable with people saying fuck you, man. You know, and it's quite frankly, it's fuck them too. You know? So anyway, let me bring out this precept real quick. I got to go up in here. But anyway, this is Mark 8:38. It said, whosoever thou should be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the glory with his Father and the holy angels. So the Lord is he's not going to claim you in that day. Okay, Ezekiel 3:1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak it to the house of Israel. And Jake is biting pieces of the roll and spitting out the part they don't like. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then I did eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak my words unto them. Okay, so that's essentially, we just speaking what the Heavenly Father told us to speak, man. Okay, and if you guys can't get it, that's a you problem, not a us problem. But anyway, I'm gonna end it giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Hawashai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Lord's will, you will edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.